Let me ask you something. Think about the last time someone treated you in a way that felt wrong. Maybe they dismissed you. Maybe they talked over you. Maybe they expected you to just accept it. And you did. Now here's the question nobody asks. Did that happen to you? Or did you, without realizing it, teach them that it could? Because here's what school never taught you. Here's what your parents probably didn't know to say. Here's the thing that most people go their entire lives without understanding. Every single day, in tiny, quiet, almost invisible moments, you are training the people around you. How to speak to you, how much to push, how little to offer, how far they can go. You're not doing it on purpose, but you're doing it. And the lesson you've been teaching? It might be the reason your life looks the way it does right now. Today, I'm going to show you 8 behaviors. Not hacks, not scripts, not things to say, behaviors. The kind that quietly rebuild how the world sees you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. Stay until the end, because the last one is the one that ties everything together. And most people never get there. But before we get into any of that, I need to say something first, something that might sting a little, because if you don't hear this part, the rest won't land the way it needs to. The truth nobody wants to say. The world does not give you what you deserve. The world gives you what you accept. I know that's uncomfortable. I know part of you wants to push back and say, that's not fair. Some people are just treated badly. And you're right, that's real. I'm not talking about circumstances beyond your control. I'm talking about patterns. The pattern of always being the one who gives more. The pattern of your no turning into yes after enough pressure. The pattern of being taken seriously by almost no one. Those patterns didn't appear randomly. They were built, brick by brick, in small moments, when you chose a certain way to show up. And here's why that's actually good news. If you built the pattern, you can break it. Not with one dramatic speech, not with a confrontation, not by becoming someone different, by changing what you quietly do, day after day, in the moments that feel too small to matter. Those are the moments that matter most. Behavior 1. Keep your word to yourself. I want you to think about a promise you made to yourself this week. Just one. Maybe it was something as small as, I'll finish that thing I've been putting off. I'll wake up earlier tomorrow. I won't let that slide again. How many of those promises are still just promises? Here's what most people miss about this. When you break promises to yourself, you're not just developing a bad habit, you're sending a message to your nervous system. That message is, my word doesn't really mean anything. And that belief doesn't stay private. It leaks. It shows up in how you speak, in whether you hesitate before you finish your own sentences, in whether people sense, without being told, that your commitments are negotiable. Epictetus understood this at the root level. He said self-mastery isn't about discipline as a performance. It's about becoming a person whose interior matches their exterior, someone whose yes means yes, starting with the promises they make when nobody's watching. Here's what I want you to do. Pick the smallest promise you've broken with yourself this week, just one, and keep it today. Not because anyone will know, because you will know. And that changes something. Something quiet. Something that compounds. Next time you say no to something, count the sentences that come after it. Most people don't stop at one. They give a reason, then a backup reason, then a small apology wrapped around both of them, then a reassurance that they're not a bad person for declining. By the end, the no is so buried under qualifications that it barely exists anymore. Sound familiar? Here's what over-explaining actually communicates, whether you intend it or not. I don't fully trust my own decision, so I need your approval to feel okay about it. You're handing someone power over your choices, and over time, they start to expect that power. They push back because they've learned it works. There's a Japanese concept called ma, the art of deliberate space, what is left unsaid, the clean edge of a complete sentence. Silence and brevity carry authority. They say, this decision was made with confidence. It doesn't need a defense. Try this. Next time you can't make it somewhere, just say, I won't be able to make it, but I hope it goes well. Full stop. No hedge, no 12 follow-up sentences. That's not coldness. That's self-assurance wearing quiet clothes. Behavior 3. Let discomfort sit without fixing it. Be honest with yourself about this one. When there's silence in a conversation, do you fill it? When someone seems upset, do you immediately try to smooth it over? When there's friction, do you rush toward resolution, not because it's actually resolved, but because the tension feels unbearable? Most people do. And in doing so, they teach everyone around them something important. Tension will always be relieved quickly, regardless of who caused it. Here's the thing about discomfort. It almost always feels urgent. It almost never is. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the discipline of not acting from anxiety, of responding to what actually requires a response, not simply to what feels pressing. Discomfort feels pressing. It rarely requires an immediate response. When you stop reflexively soothing every tense moment, something shifts. People learn that your calm is real, not a performance, not a fragility waiting to crack. They learn you can hold hard moments without dissolving, and people who can hold hard moments are treated like people who can hold hard moments. Don't go anywhere, because the next 3 behaviors, these are the ones most people completely miss. These are the ones that work underneath the surface, and they're the reasons some people command respect in every room they walk into, while others feel invisible doing the exact same things. Stay with me. Behavior 4. Receive compliments without deflecting. Someone tells you that you did something well, and before they finish the sentence, you're already, oh, it was nothing. Anyone could have done it. I actually almost messed the whole thing up. You laugh a little, you redirect, you make yourself smaller than the moment they just tried to give you. It feels like humility. It isn't. Or it's rarely just humility. More often, deflecting a compliment is a subtle rejection of the person offering it, as if their perception of you can't be trusted, as if their positive experience of your work is somehow mistaken. Quieter. And underneath that, a belief that receiving good things graciously is somehow arrogant, that agreeing with someone who sees your worth is the same as bragging. It's not. Here's what Maya Angelou understood. How you show people who you are shapes how they see you. When you consistently dismiss their positive assessments, they begin, slowly, subtly, to question those assessments too. You're teaching them not to bother. Learn to say 2 words. Thank you. Full stop. No hedge, no self-deprecation, no pivot. Just a clean, open receipt. Let yourself be seen as capable. Let yourself be seen as worthy, without flinching away from it. Behavior 5. Stop shrinking in rooms. You know what shrinking looks like. You've done it. So has almost everyone. It's sitting at the edge of a table instead of pulling your chair in. It's lowering your voice mid-sentence because you suddenly weren't sure your thought was worth the full volume. It's preemptively apologizing for taking up space before anyone has even suggested you shouldn't. It's making yourself smaller, physically, verbally, energetically, as a kind of social insurance policy, a way of saying before anyone else can, I won't take more than I'm given. The problem is, people tend to give you exactly as much as you claim. Body language is a language, and when you walk into a room like you're not sure you belong there, the room tends to agree. Not out of cruelty, out of taking your cue. Seneca wrote about this, the importance of simply being, of not constantly performing yourself for other people's approval. There's something deeply freeing in that, to stop negotiating your right to occupy space, to arrive and simply allow yourself to be there. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to perform confidence you don't feel. You just need to stop editing yourself downward before anyone has asked you to. Pull your chair in. Speak at your actual volume. Take up the space you were always meant to take up. Some things end long before we let them go. The friendship that now runs entirely on obligation and old memory. The role you've outgrown but keeps showing up to play. The relationship that drained to empty somewhere in the middle distance. And yet here you are, still maintaining it, still performing it, still treating the ghost of it like it owes you something for your patience. Holding on to things that have already ended isn't loyalty. It's a quiet form of self-abandonment. And it teaches the people watching that your presence isn't something to be cherished, it's something to be assumed. That you don't leave, because leaving requires a level of self-regard you haven't yet fully claimed. You don't need to burn anything down. You don't need speeches or confrontations or dramatic exits. Quiet endings are often the most dignified. A conversation that simply gets shorter. A presence that gradually withdraws. An internal decision made without announcement. This is no longer mine to carry. When you begin releasing what no longer serves you, actually releasing it, not just thinking about it, you communicate something essential about your own worth. Your time, your energy, your presence, they are not unlimited, freely available resources. They are finite, they are valuable, and they go where they are genuinely received. Behavior 7. Respond, don't react. Someone says something that gets under your skin. Your pulse lifts. Every part of you wants to answer immediately, to match the energy, to defend, to let them know exactly what you think. That impulse is human. It's almost universal. And acting on it every single time is one of the quietest ways you hand your power away. Reacting is automatic. It says, whatever just happened has control over me right now. Responding is deliberate. It says, I heard you, and I'll engage with you on my terms. The difference, moment to moment, might look like only a breath, a pause, 3 seconds where you choose not to fill the air. But that pause, that's where everything happens. Epictetus built his entire philosophy around this, the gap between what happens to you and what you do about it. He called that gap freedom. Most people never find it because they're moving too fast. They react, then explain the reaction, then sometimes regret both. You won't always get it right. The reactive moment will still come. But the practice, the returning again and again to that small pause, that is where your character is quietly written, and the people around you quietly learn it. This one is different from the others, because this isn't a behavior you practice once and move on. This is the behavior that makes all the others possible. Somewhere along the way, most of us learned to wait. Wait for someone to confirm we're smart enough. Wait for permission to take up space. Wait until we've earned the right to be confident. Wait until we've proven ourselves enough times to finally stop second-guessing everything. And we're still waiting. Here's what I want you to understand. The version of you that is fully trusted, genuinely respected, deeply present in your own life, that version isn't waiting at the end of a long road of self-improvement. It's available right now, in the next small decision, in the next moment you choose to keep your word to yourself, in the next no you don't over-explain, in the next compliment you actually receive. Self-worth isn't a speech.
It doesn't arrive in a dramatic moment where you finally stand up and declare yourself. It lives in the texture of ordinary days, in the way you walk into a room, in whether you finish the things you promised yourself, in how you absorb criticism, and how you receive praise. You've been teaching people your worth this entire time, every single day. The only question now is, what lesson do you want them to learn?
If something in this video landed, if even one of these 8 things quietly shifted something in you, I want you to do one thing. Go to the comments right now and write, "I know my worth." No explanation, no backstory, just those 3 words. Say it here, even if you're still building toward it. Say it here, especially if you're still building toward it. And if you want more of this, the kind of content that doesn't just motivate you for 10 minutes, but actually changes how you carry yourself, subscribe right now. Hit the bell, because what's coming next is going to go even deeper than this. Thank you for being here. Walk steady.